How's it going, everyone? It's me, Vivi, and we're back to some Ratchet and Clank. So this is something for sure I had to discuss. I couldn't just let this be. Percival Tachyon and Artemis Zogg. Could these two potentially team up? Now, I did talk about the comic itself. I did give a summary a while back. If you did not see that video, maybe you'd like to check it out. I did read the comic, I enjoyed it, it's a great read. Now, Artemis Zogg, I know probably a lot of you maybe aren't familiar with this character because he was featured in the comic book, which took place after the events of A Crack in Time. Now, about Zogg, how Clank describes him, well, he went through a psychotic break. We're familiar with characters going through psychotic breaks in the Ratchet and Clank series, Nefarious being one, in one way or another, right? Sure, Quark drove him mad. I'm not talking about Nefarious, he did drive Nefarious crazy as well, but now we're focusing on Artemis Zogg. Quark again did something, and Artemis Zogg, he just went mad, to the point of wanting to steal planets, against, let's just say, people's will. Moving planets ain't a safe trip. Disorientation is one of the side effects. Imagine the elderly just going through that. He doesn't care about who inhabits those planets. He geo-shifts them to a galaxy far, far away, to where the Zoni, according to him, couldn't even reach. Should we believe that? I mean, the Zoni are pretty mysterious creatures of energy. I'm not too sure about that one. So this Zogg person, he shifted 10 planets from Polaris, Bogon, and Solana. Total of planets he moved into his Artemis galaxy, well, we got Uranos, Cobalia, Fastoon, Egliac, Kerwan, Sargasso, Terracnos, Umbris, Velden, and Zorig. Now, obviously, once Zogg's ordeal was over, all of those planets went back to their original locations. Moving planets. We're talking about huge orbs in space. How is that even possible, you might ask? Well, Artemis Zogg had shown Quark the Psionics shard, a transdimensional shard used to manufacture the Dimensionator, you know, created by the Lombaxes. By applying negative energy to this shard, it would cause an unpredictable shift, aka a bridge, between dimensions. The Dimensionator being that pretty much. But by applying positive energy, that could be used for transportation, to move planets from one location to another. Zogg wanted to run for president until Quark, of course, decided to get himself elected. Last minute, when Zogg was about to get elected. And how did he think of this? Knowing Quark, you know, thanks to his producer, he was easily, I don't know how to put it, convinced. Okay, let's go with that. His producer, you know, when his program called Unicop was cancelled, the dude decided to still show up, talk to Quark, told him, hey, you're too famous. You should be president of Polaris instead. Quark didn't accept from the get-go, but you know, someone told him, hey, you should do this and that, and he, listened. It took him like a little short while to decide. He did wonder about Artemis, but knowing Quark and his overinflated ego, he went for it. What else would he do? Feel bad throughout the whole thing? No. Artemis Zogg, before wanting to become president of Polaris, he was the Minister of Defense since the Lombax days, according to the producer. So with that, Artemis Zogg, we can say, was already aware of what's been happening since Ratchet and Clank became heroes. Remember, Ratchet was sent to Velden by his father. Artemis Zogg, knowing about the Lombaxes, he did know a lot. Zogg wanted to become president. He showed Quark Project Helios even. Quark was supposed to be his supporter, but no. Quark decided to take his place. Project Helios. Now what was that? It was intended to originally be used as a safety measure to move planets in case of catastrophic events. Now what about the sun, you might ask? I'm surprised Quark even brought up the question. There was an artificial sun included, which was part of Project Helios. When Quark took his spot, became president of Polaris, well, you know, Artemis Zogg, well, remember what Clank said? He went through a psychotic break. Slowly, everything started to go to his head. Quark, reminding him of what Percival Tachyon tried to do, Quark shut down the project entirely. Zogg, he refused, absolutely. You guys might wonder, what does Quark mean by Tachyon's incident? Well, Project Helios does utilize a transdimensional shard. Applying positive energy, sure, it does provide transportation, but if someone were to accidentally use negative energy, it would cause a bridge. and that's what Quark was worried about, I take it. Next, Sasha's father, Pharonix, while on a goodwill trip to Polaris, well, he was on planet Zorik, and poof, the planet got shifted and he was all disoriented. I like how Pharonix brought up Tachyon in this scene, how you shouldn't impose leadership. Zogg believed his galaxy, the Artemis galaxy, which was full of stolen planets, it wouldn't have any chaos. With chaos comes war, but Pharonix was all completely against the idea. He called him a dictator. Zogg even tried persuading Pharonix to become vice president. He refused. As for Ratchet and Clank, well, at first Zogg came off as a fan, but no, he came to Veldin, tried looking for the duo, and get them arrested. Later to describe the duo as a threat to the peace and tranquility. I wonder what he thought of Ratchet and Clank before all of this went to his head, right? Later on, he tells the duo, "You turn yourselves in, or I'll kill thousands of lives on Veldin." And how was he gonna do it? Shift Veldin to an unknown location without sun. Veldin without sun, the whole place freezes. People will freeze to death. The place turns into a winter wonderland. What did the duo do? Well, they wanted to accept the deal, but the gang, Sasha, and everyone, they refused, believing that they would let themselves into a death trap. And they were right. Zogg didn't care what it took. He did want them killed in the end. Zogg even brings up Flint Vorsalon, saying how he couldn't send his defense force. That Flint Vorsalon had to do what was necessary. The ability to do what's necessary. Did he think this way prior to Quark becoming president? I don't know, but one little trigger in the brain made him turn this way. Now, would he have said the same thing when he was still Ministry of Defense? I mean, what did he say originally to the citizens? Did he say the same thing he told Ratchet and Clank in this scene? Vorsalon had to do what was necessary? I don't think so, he probably came up with a lie. It's crazy how this little trigger, yes, Quark did trigger him, but what he's doing. Yeah, I understand someone drove you mad, but you're showing your true colors. Do you agree or disagree? Even Talwyn said that she voted for Artemis Zogg. Artemis Zogg, a fellow trusted Marquesian, to a crazy person, just because his project got cancelled. Yeah, he probably put blood and sweat into that project, but to turn crazy, stealing planets against the people's will, not caring who gets injured in the process, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Long story short, the gang stopped him. Ratchet uses Azimuth's wrench in the end to zap the shard with negative energy. Boom! Where does Artemis Zogg end up? Dimension 8266, where Tachyon was sent off to after Ratchet and Clank dealt with him in Tools of Destruction. Can we all just take a moment and appreciate how they gave Ratchet casual clothes? I mean, look at this dude. Anyways, these two get into an argument as to who owns this small orbit in space. Just seeing these two interact, I can already see the similarities. These two wanted to take over in some way. Tachyon wanted Polaris and get rid of the Lombaxes ultimately. Artemis stole planets and tried creating his own galaxy. They both wanted forced leadership. Is this even a question of which one's worse? Zogg wanted Veldin to remain isolated, freeze the citizens to death due to no sun. And who knows what Artemis would have done to the other citizens on the planets he stole. The fact he wanted to kill a population, that's already a checkmark in the evils category. Tachyon wanted to overpower Polaris by bringing back the Kragmites. Crazy to think. Quark's last-minute decision revealed the crazy ruthless side of Artemis. Who would have known that dude had it in him? Like really, Artemis could have framed Quark if he was so angry about what Quark did to him, canceling his project and taking his spot. He could have sent troops after him. He was still Ministry of Defense. He could have framed him, done something else instead of causing havoc in the galaxy. So with all of this being mentioned, Tachyon and Artemis, knowing they had this one thing in common, wanting power to take over, I believe these two will at one point come to an agreement to settle truce and try and escape Dimension 8266. I mean, which one's better, working on your own or teamwork? We got this former Minister of Defense. He can easily convince strangers to team up with them. Tachyon, he tried taking over. He was an emperor. You know, he wasn't doing the right things. He was evil. But you know, if these two team up, considering what they've done in the past, I believe they can convince the unknown citizens of 8266 to help these guys out. Well, will these two betray one another? At one point, you know that cliche story, oh, let's team up. Oh, in the end, one of them backstabs one another. We've seen that. video games, movies, and stuff, you know. But I still want to see these two guys team up. To some extent, I wouldn't mind seeing these two brought back into a full-fledged Ratchet & Clank game. This has so much potential. A bit cliche, perhaps, okay. These two have to at least team up to figure out how to escape this place. The key to returning home, from what we've learned from the series so far, they need a transdimensional shard, the Psionic shard, with negative energy. We have no idea what A266 is even like. Okay, if the place has 0 population, then these two are stuck there forever, unless someone accidentally activates the Dimensionator and a bridge gets opened, right? If not, this place could have inhabitants who will easily fall into the clutches of Artemis Zogg and Tachyon. Act all nice in the beginning, you know, and boom, they take power. They form troops, and all that. Would they betray the people they befriend? Heck, yeah, why not? Their ultimate goal being trying to escape A266. And about this transdimensional shard, in Ratchet's galaxy it's very hard to find. Now about A266, who knows, maybe this place could be full of that shard. By finding the shard, Tachyon and Artemis Zogg, with of course the troops they find, even scientists, they'll manufacture another shifting machine. All it takes is negative energy and the shard. Ratchet even points out, I hope they don't hold elections there. If they find people, they'll befriend them. If they have to backstab them, they'll do it, whatever it takes. So guys, all it takes is some good writing. Bring these two back, bring a full-fledged game back, and come up with a story. There's a bunch of possibilities on how to take on this story. An unknown A266 dimension? They can do anything. Think about Nefarious and Lawrence being stranded on an asteroid. The Fongoids found them and boom, they found their way out. The same could apply for these two, so they can easily come up with something. So with that being said guys, this is it for the video. So in the comment section below, do as you do usually, I guess. Comments, questions, theories you have, I don't know. Share whatever you want in the comment section below. And as always, I've been VV and thank you so much for watching.